Avete stata? This is what the charge of the and every. You know what? They have to pay my treatments too, so don't feel bad. There's sometimes they deny them, like the guys getting bills for 30, 50,000. So my doctor. So don't be afraid of it. You need to go beyond. Maybe you want to call that. And then ask her what they did. Now you're in this situation again. And she said she's straight with that. So you know. But definitely give her, she said that to you, the dealing with her and the rise and it's yeah. So give her, tomorrow. Yeah, call tomorrow, and say, listen, I know you said everything was settled, unfortunately, it's coming up again, and give her an opportunity to straighten it out. Yeah. But then there's nothing we don't have a fund. Give her an opportunity if she doesn't respond to you, text me and
I'm just losing a day right now. We were getting late, so I stopped at 8 o'clock. You have to take a day off.
Good evening, please stand for the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as follows. By having the time, date, and place of the meeting posted on the bulletin board in the administration building, January 6, 2022, by sending a copy of the meeting notice to the Star Ledger newspaper and a local source on January 6, 2022, and by filing a copy with the Township of Hillside and Hillside Public Library, January 6, 2022, roll call.
Mr. Yende, Ms. Best,
Present.
Ms. Silo, Ms. Horton Givens, Mr. Howard, Mr. Laughlin, Ms. Simmons, Mr. Shapiro,
Very happy to be here.
Ms. Cook.
Present. At this time, we're going to change up a little bit and go into our public comments. Residents are requested to state their names, addresses, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 15 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by participant to 3-minute durations. Issues raised by the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of the state of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments and be aware that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone has any public comments come forward?
Just need a motion, Madam President.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Good evening, Angela Lawler, 54 Herden Street. So I'd like to start off by apologizing to the board members this evening, and it's not my intention to be disrespectful to anyone at this time. Many of you have known me for a number of years, and that's just not my character. I'll try not to go over my allotted time, but I can't promise that I will not. I'm employed at the Hillside District for 25 years. This evening, I'm here to address concerns that have come up since the release of the board agenda on Tuesday, August 23rd. Upon reading the agenda, I was concerned about the lack of professionalism. Staff members were not informed regarding a transfer for the upcoming school year. Dare I say, déjà vu. It is a professional courtesy to notify staff members if they are being transferred. I understand that we are employed by the Hillside Public School District, and then at any time, the superintendent can find a need for an employee to be transferred within the district. But we're dealing with people. People I would hope that the district would like to retain due to the lack of teachers across the nation. Many of the people on the agenda are extremely loyal employees. Over the past several months, the district has been seeing an influx of teachers leaving the district, seeking more money and sign-on bonuses from other surrounding districts. But loyal people stay behind. Again, we're dealing with loyal employees who've been in the district over 15 years or more. For an employee to read in black and white on a computer screen, or to find out via text message from one of their coworkers that they're being moved effective September was disrespectful, but especially a loyal employee. This evening, I come to you as the local president to tell you that several years ago, this happened to me while under the direction of Dr. Antoine Gales, superintendent of Hillside Public Schools at the time. I found out that I was being moved from secretary of the principal at the high school to a 10-month secretarial position at elementary school while on a senior class trip in Virginia with over 40 students. A loyal employee who's been with the district over 20 years had to find out by reading it in black and white on a computer screen. Rather than having a human being actually having a conversation with that person, that was totally unacceptable and unprofessional. While we as employees may disagree how things operate, as the union president, there are certain courtesies and respect that come along with the position. I've never felt so disrespected by a superintendent except when Antoine Gales was employed in the district. I pride myself on creating what I believe to be a good working relationship with administration in the district. But the agenda that was proposed on Tuesday was absolutely ridiculous. Moving special ed teachers out of the high school and not replacing them is a disservice to students. How can you take away from one school and give services to another? How do you justify not replacing staff that are resigning? Where are those salaries being allocated? For more administrators? I don't know, you tell me. At Deanna Taylor, I'm being told that they will be eliminating library, coding, art, and violin. On Tuesday's agenda under labor, Guidance counselor Jeannie Ruban was being relocated from Deanna Taylor, an HIA, to the high school 100%. And the person assigned to the high school was being reassigned to Deanna Taylor. To HIA, which then left Deanna Taylor without a guidance counselor. When the district decided that 3 elementary schools were going to be grades 2 to 6, there was a lot of concern from parents and staff that the elementary schools were not going to receive the same services. So here we go again. All 3 are not the same, and where is the equity in the district? At the high school, 3 language arts positions are not being filled. Again, I'm confused. Students must take English 4 years at the high school in order to graduate. How do you justify cutting in this area of instruction when it is a testing area? You have multiple teachers in one classroom at WOK, but you have vacancies at other schools. Again, where's the equity? Upon further reviewing the agenda that was posted on Tuesday, I also noticed that there were clubs that were being proposed and approved this evening by the superintendent. As it states in the contract, all clubs must be discussed with the union leadership. This has not happened. According to the contract, the HEA should be reviewing the clubs with the building principals and then presenting the list to the superintendent for discussion. This has been negotiated within the Hillside Education Association contract. This did not happen. My mother always taught me to never air your dirty laundry in public. And I've never been one to do that, but unfortunately, I had to do it this evening due to the lack of communication between union leadership and the current sitting superintendent. Although in the past it seemed like we had a cordial relationship, I don't feel like it was reciprocated. Many times I've reached out to the superintendent and haven't received a response, which is extremely frustrating. I've emailed the superintendent, but I don't get a response, or the message is not kept confidential. As the president, I'm trying to address issues as they arise rather than waiting until something actually happens. I would prefer to be proactive rather than reactive. It seems to me that current administration thinks that maybe because I don't have doctor in front of my name, or that I don't have a college degree, or maybe because I am a female, then I'm not smart enough to understand what's happening. But I can assure you I am not a stupid person. I've been the union president for a number of years and have gone through many superintendents, and I've learned along the way. It is unfortunate that I had to come here this evening to the microphone to express my concerns about what is happening in the district. I thought we were on an upward climb. I thought we were doing an excellent job moving forward and building bridges within the district. But after what I endured this week, I just don't understand which way we are going. Teachers are leaving, staff members are leaving, and at this point, I don't understand what the district is doing to retain employees. I guess I'm experiencing a lack of confidence with administration in the district. I'm sure many of my members are as frustrated as I am, and they're not understanding what is going on. But as the leader here in the district, it is my responsibility to come forward tonight and state to you what is going on. This is how we feel as an HEA in the district. The communication is not happening. The direction is not being told. We need to know what's going on. We are a week away, if that, from starting school, and I have still yet to see a copy of any schedule that I've asked for. To me, this is unacceptable. We're supposed to be in a partnership. I don't see it. So I come to you tonight to ask you, we need to figure out a way on how to mend this, fix it, and move forward. Because it's not just about me. It's about my 400 members, and it's about the 3,000 students in the district. Thank you.
Anyone else have public comments?
Nicole Taylor, 133 Cole Avenue. I just want to follow up with our special needs teacher. I have 3 sons, and 2 of them benefit from IEP. And since my first son, that's 15 now, he had an IEP, Ms. Simmerl. And she has always been overwhelmed with the amount of students that she has to deal with during the day. I think it's time for us to focus on our children with special needs. It's not that it can't be fixed for them. It's just redirection for them. And Ms. Simmerl has been doing a great job with my kids, but she needs help. Ms. Miller is awesome. She is so forward moving with my two older children. I think it's time that we focus on our special needs children because there's a lot of them and a lot of Black boys get channeled in there because their energy is not being used up. So when they get into the classroom, they seem like a lot. They're distracted, they're all over the place. But once you have enough teachers that has the energy, the focus, and the means to be able to be present for them, it works. It works. My children have been in a different district. They've been in Morris County. And coming back here to Hillside, I totally see a difference in our special needs teacher. Mr. Greco has been amazing for my middle son. He has been pushing him forward to get him into HIA because it's not that he can't do it. We just need the teachers who have the patience to do it. And the only way they have the patience is if they have the staff. Because for one teacher with 8 different special needs students, it's not workable. It's not fair to the child. It's not fair to the parent that is cutting time at work to be available. It's not fair. We pay taxes here. I need more special need teachers. Thanks to Ms. Diggs, who stepped forward with my middle son when he was in early child care center. She didn't have to do that, but she made herself available at the time when my son, special ed teacher, was overwhelmed. And I think it's time for us to just show these teachers some love, give them some support, so that way they can continue to support our students.
Hi, Anne-Marie Coverbatch, Hillside, Bond Street. I'm going to echo the importance of the special education teachers. And I'm going to point out a few things. Let's start here. During the pandemic, a lot of parents were home with their children. And so parents being home with their children were able to see certain things about their children and the way they learn. I'm one of those parents. And so when my son and my daughter returned to in-person schooling, for the first half, from September to, I would say, January or February, at HIA, my son, who has an IEP, was without a special education teacher. This administration is a lawsuit waiting to happen when it comes to the ADA. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. If you don't fix it now, you're gonna pay heavy very, very soon. It's not a threat. It is a promise. And I think I'm speaking for a lot of parents who have children who have IEPs. You guys are a lawsuit waiting to happen. I have sent an email to Hurd and Looker for my daughter to be evaluated, and Mr. Garber, you were CC'd on that email. I am yet, this is a new school year and she's going to WOK. She was in 6th grade at Hurd and Looker. I am yet to receive a response from them about the status of my email. I know for every email that I send to this administration, I CC on those emails. The next thing I'm going to highlight for you guys is the lack of communication. I don't know who is responsible for it, but your communication lacks respect, has low morale. It is downright disrespectful to parents. WOK had an orientation yesterday at 4 p.m. An email came in at 4:08 p.m. to remind parents that there was an orientation at WOK. At 4:23 is when I checked my email. My husband, all the way in New York, is asking me, were we aware of this before? No, I wasn't. I checked my email at 4:23. Are we living in back of time? Is that how we're working? It is now like minutes after 6 or something. At about, my son reminded me at 6:16. He's like, Mom, when are we gonna get our schedule for high school? We are how many days away from school's beginning? No schedule. Contacting someone, and I would say parents and staff members here, I get a response when I CC the chain of command here. Mrs. Cook, how you prefer to be addressed? Remember when when HIA was now opening, and there was an issue about the address for where HIA was when all the parents were at? You see the communication issue still happening today? As a president, your team members are making you look very bad. Whoever is responsible for the communication chain here is making you look very, very bad. And I would say, if the head is not good, the entire body is not going to be good. So to the staff, where many, if not everyone here, tax dollars going to, please fix the issue. Mr. Glover, I know that you know me very well, and I am a parent that is very outspoken. I will defend any and every child you could think about. I'm asking you guys to fix it. You are a lawsuit waiting to happen. Whatever cloak of protection you guys think y'all have, remember the parent and the children come first.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is John Connor. I'm here to speak on behalf of myself in the sense that I received an email stating that I would be transferred, and I didn't know anything about it until I actually received it. During this email, I was just really surprised because I established relationships with people and students and things of that nature, and not to know that I was going to be in the same position that I was in, it kind of threw me for a loop. So my question was to, I guess, the staff, as well as I posed it to the union president. What is the protocol? Because I felt that my private knowledge became public before I knew about it. So that was my issue here. I just wanted to know the protocol and for me to be transferred. It's not that I'm rejecting the job, it's just the fact that I just didn't understand the protocol.
Anyone else have any comments? Motion to close public comments?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, at this time, we're going to take our superintendent's report. Mr. Glover?
Good evening. So again, good evening. I know it's a lot of tension, but despite everything was received, and I will echo sentiments that were shared by one of the folks who had public comment. The job and role of my administration, because I'm the leader of this district, is to make sure that we do improve transparency, that we do make sure our communication to all of our stakeholders is consistent, and where there are gaps, we need to fix it. The comments have been well received, and they will be addressed accordingly. Tonight, as I always begin, I want to make sure that we understand the mission, the drive of our vision, and our mission and our vision of our district. It remains the same as it was in the past. I think it was one that captured the essence of where we're trying to go as a district. Our priority goals, as they have been shared in the past and will continue to be shared, is what our aspirations are. We always think about student success. That has been consistent, it hasn't changed. in light of all the things that have happened to our students over the last 3 years, we're always thinking about how we can improve our students' well-being. In a few minutes, there will be some comments as to how we have addressed that. Engaging our workforce. It's very interesting in that I know the work and due diligence that has been undertaken to make sure that we not only retain, but we recruit the caliber of talent that's going to make sure our students are prepared for post-secondary success, to make sure we have folks in front of our students who also want to be here, but also have the skill sets and the knowledge and the drive. We think about operational procedures, and we also think about our partnerships. Again, continuing from what was stated last year, understanding our role, our drive, and our why. Hasn't changed, will be consistent, but sometimes you have to read it, maybe even to hear it yourself. As an educator, my role is to make sure that we are doing what's in the best interest of our students, driven by those expectations, to bring people around our children that have that same motivation and that same expectation, to make sure that no child is left behind, and not because that is a term that was coined by a president, but that's the right term for all of our children. And to consistently ask, why are we doing the work that we do? And is it going to make a difference in the lives of students? Every month I try to share what is a major initiative or a national initiative. And as we prepare, we're on the verge of opening our schools on September the 7th. I want to make sure that all of our parents understand to get their children's eyesight tested as they prepare to return back to school. This is an exciting time of the year for so many. Our students are looking at the new book bags in the store and deciding which ones they want to bring home. Parents are out school shopping for uniforms. But this is the time when so many of our educators, our students, and our families are excited about coming back. Despite all that's happening in our society, in our community, I'm a firm believer that schools are the best place for our students. Later on in my presentation, I will speak to what happened this summer and some of the comments that came back from our students and our staff. Now, on the schedule tonight was our Director of Special Services. And it just kind of apropos that Dr. Sandy Mercedes is coming forth to share a comment on some of the strengths of our special education department. So at this time, Dr. Mercedes, will you please come and share comments that you have prepared?
Good evening, everyone.
Use the mic, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some information with all of you pertaining to special education and related services in district. I'm proud to announce that the Department of Special Services will start the 22-23 school year with new and additional educational specialists. We've increased our staff from 3 psychologists to 5, 2 social workers to 3, 1 BCBA to 3, and as you can see, we're building our service providers to address the social, emotional, and mental health needs of our students. We also have a new member, a staff member to our department that we're adding that's been trained and certified in Orton-Gillingham. She's our new Orton-Gillingham interventionist. We also have an additional speech therapist who will be joining the team this year to address various communication needs for our students. We also continue to work on enhancing our learning environments throughout the district in all our self-contained classrooms. The program coordinator, which is one of our in-district BCBAs, will now have increased capacity to improve and provide continuous training to the special education teachers and support staff in our self-contained programs throughout the school district. This will help optimize programming, providing ABA-trained framework, the use of curriculum, and any new specialty items purchased for these learning environments. Throughout the school year, and especially in preparation for the new school year, the Department of Special Services must collaborate with the guidance department and all school leaders from every building to analyze student needs throughout the district and all resources available at each location to ensure that all students with individual education plans are enrolled in their designated program, receive their related services and specialized support. Our department must submit recommendations to the superintendent
that may involve reassignment of staff members from one location to another in district. We are tasked with making adjustments based on students' needs, providing services in an efficient and fiscally responsible manner, and our purpose is to provide all students with IEPs the appropriate program, service, support that they need and are entitled to. Our instructional faculty, educational specialists, and support staff are appropriately certified and more than capable to teach and provide specialized instruction related services to all our students with learning differences, at any of our locations within our district. I'm excited that the new school year, we're going to be welcoming new staff. We're going to have a full team to help with teachers in all programming throughout the district and meet the needs of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mercedes. One thing I would like to highlight in that conversation is that as we all sit on this dais, we can all speak to our experiences in whether it's education, our workplace, or even sometimes our family members that we may have had to raise, who may have had academic, social, emotional challenges and needed supports. I think that it's important to understand that, and I say this with 100% confidence, I started my career in special education, and I know that the task that has been charged with Dr. Mercedes and her team, especially this year, especially coming out of the last 3 years where we have had increase in mental health issues and concerns with so many of our students and adults, is that I thank this board for supporting the decisions made to build the capacities of her office. For those that don't understand, increasing social workers, increasing the number of child study team members who can handle cases, psychologists, is a major undertaking. Behaviors, Orton Gilliam, which is one that really helps in promoting literacy for those students who are struggling readers. All those come at a cost. We have examined IEPs, we have brought students back into the district, and we still have students who may not necessarily be in the best appropriate space. We have increased and done our best to make sure that we have teacher assistants who are assigned to our students so we can continue to meet their IEP goals. This administration, and I would say, like to say this board, has taken serious the concerns of our parents, especially our students who have special education needs. We will continue to examine where we may have gaps. I assure you, as with all of our students, those students who are in need of support, it will be addressed, and we will make sure that we meet not only their individual educational plan goals, but just their overall academic and well-being goals as human beings. I want to highlight and express some great celebrations that took place over the last few months as far as where our district is going. The summer academies were well received by on so many levels, and I want to share the levels that made me feel the best about the work. 3 constituency groups that came and spoke to me personally. First and foremost, the students. From the partnerships that we have with many of our organizations, Rutgers University, NJIT, the students were excited. The pictures that will come out of those summer activities were enormous. Students who participated in the senior seminar, 3 of the seniors, the rising seniors, came to me and said, Mr. Glover, thank you. What are you thanking me for? I should be thanking you. And they said, Mr. Glover, not only were the activities that we did, going to visit colleges, beneficial, not only did we get 2.5 credits to come, we also received an opportunity to work in district and learn skills. One of our principals shared that he is now mentoring some of those students so that as they prepare to go on to post-secondary. True collaboration and what it means to be in a small community where we take care of each other. I was really proud of our scholars. I was proud when the parents came and said, thank you. Parents today to me at Ola Edwards said, my daughter was participating in one of the events that took place in the high school with Coach Smalls. And she said, Mr. Glover, it just made her feel so good. And she said, it was a breath of fresh air for her because it gave her students something to do. And she said she was really happy when she came home and went right to sleep because that gave her a few minutes to cook and rest. I think the important part for me there was that a parent recognized the importance of what it meant for her. Then there were several parents that came to me individually and just said, let's continue to make sure we do it. And that's the commitment. Let's continue to make sure we do it, because it was an opportunity for so many of our scholars to engage in activities that broaden their horizons about what school to home, home to school, school to community can mean. Parents, in the coming days, you're going to find a new point of sales meal payment system. We are replacing Meal Plus, which was a little challenging at times for our families, and we will be going to pay schools. It will definitely be a benefit to all of us as we move forward. Dr. Mercedes just spoke about many of our social emotional supports that we have in place. We also have organizations that we're bringing in to do interactive activities for our students and our staff to make sure that they are coming to school feeling good and in a better state of mind. Professional development for our teachers. We had a great meeting today with Teacher Channel, where we will be utilizing that to support our teachers in the classroom, making sure that they are getting the necessary resources to continue to sharpen their craft and their tools. On the horizon, we hope to have teacher coaches that will be available again to come in and help our teachers, because we understand that it's about what they do in the classroom. We want them to have the right supports. Our partnership with New Jersey Performing Arts Center, NJPAC, is going to tie into our social and emotional support with all of our elementary schools, middle school, and high school. Will have the opportunity to have many of our students participate in this partnership. We are improving our data analytics system, and we are happy to say that we finally have upgraded our phone system. As today, we started going through the upgrades, and you will notice that our phone systems now are definitely more user-friendly, and we have made sure that we address right now, one language, and in the future, hopefully are able to add additionals, but we will be able to have our families who are Spanish speaking in their native tongue will be able to also call and receive assistance. Finally, before I conclude, I just want to make sure I always remind us that at the core root of what we do is about students. I want to celebrate all of those staff members, those families who came out to the pre-kindergarten celebration that took place on August 18th. There were so many parents out there. Board member President Cook was there. Board member Vice President Best was there. It was an exciting time for our students and our families as they were getting ready for that first day of entering school. Today, we had celebrations at our elementary schools for our rising second graders. Last night, we had our rising middle school students, and next week, we will have our rising freshmen at the high school. All that we do is always in the name of our students. At the core of everything we try to do is to make sure students are first. If students are not the priority of our conversations, then definitely our work is in vain. And I hope that we continue to make sure we put our students first. Have a great evening.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go into our committee report, starting with Ms. Best in Finance.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
On Monday, August 22nd at 7 p.m., the Finance Committee met. Myself, Board Member Sillo, and Board President Cook were in attendance. We discussed that the auditors, they're expected to come, and the June 30th, 2022 closeout is also approaching, and we will then know exactly how our year-end balance looks like. We also discussed that the second and third floors in the high school were redone. Board President, that concludes the Finance Committee report.
Thank you. Ms. Gibbons, can you take Helen and Grace?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. On Monday, August the 22nd, myself, along with Superintendent Glover, Dr. E, Donald Howard, Vice President Best, and President Cook attended this meeting. It started at 6:45. The agenda items that we discussed were bringing back life to the modular classrooms. So what we're looking to do is to add 4 to Deanna Taylor that are convertible to a multi-purpose room. Right now, we have solicited bids, so we're waiting for those to come in, but we wanted to revisit that. One of the other things that we discussed was bringing the Saybrook School into compliance, ADA standard, putting a chair lift, which goes up to 2 stories in this building. We spoke at the toilet room facility waiver for AP Morris. And so that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Best, can you take education?
Absolutely. Monday, August 20th.
I'm sorry, Mr. Howard is going to take the education.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As you can see, sometimes it just takes a little conversation to get things moving. And I've always believed that most things can be solved with starting with a simple conversation. I certainly hope that, we've heard your concerns and let that be the aegis of us, our actions moving forward. The Education Committee also met on August 22nd at 6:30. There were a multitude of items discussed, but one of the many items discussed on the agenda was that our judicious use of our CARES Act funds to improve outcomes in ELA and math, which is reflected in items 4 and 5 on the agenda. Additionally, we discussed how our CARE and ESSER funds will be used to assist teachers in providing new opportunities in science and providing our students with hands-on experiences through the ISIC program and other programs, and also really was of real importance because it's a need that the district expressed to help our English language learners also achieve mastery of their target language. All these innovations will be reflected in items 12 through 15 on your agenda as well as items 2022. For the coming year, the Education Committee also argued we should pursue avenues to help our social and emotional health of our students, not only just our students, but our staff, which includes the wellness program and the expansion of extra clubs and activities proposed in both elementary and middle level. We're also going to renew our partnership with the Race at No program, which has also been a great success. Lastly, security at schools has been a very real concern for you and for us. And over the past several months, our efforts to improve student behaviors and outcomes and reduce incidents of violence will be addressed by our initiative moving forward with CARES Act funds for an application for the New Jersey Child Assault Prevention Program for early childhood, teens, and elementary, and special ed students with special needs, in the hopes to reduce more violent acts in the schools, providing sound, structured, social and emotional support for our students with all needs, all ages and learning needs. Additionally, if I can just add one more thing onto the superintendent's formal comments on the topic of IT. Two more large, or I should say, great movements are in progress. One, there will be increased cybersecurity for the district. There will be extensive training not only for the district, its students, staff, and for administration as well in the coming weeks on cybersecurity. Again, in all platforms to include CrowdStrike and Office 365. And lastly, the information superhighway will be open even more. The access points in all of the schools are in progress of being updated. Hopefully this will happen over time before the year is out. The information portal should be widened, allowing information to stream through more efficiently and much more quickly, which is something that we certainly need in our schools to increase our Wi-Fi and bandwidth. So hopefully that will be something that moves forward in the coming months. Again, I just want to let everyone know that your concerns are really heard, particularly for those students who are in need of special education. And I hope that we can have deeper conversations with Dr. Mercedes to find outcomes that are suitable for not just the students, but for the parents and for the community. Thank you.
Mr. Howard, I see you took IT. Can you just quickly go over negotiations?
I can. Currently, in negotiations, we are ardently hoping that we can come to a resolution with the HEA. We have been working diligently to come to a conclusion that's going to be satisfactory to both parties, and more importantly, that's going to provide our teachers, who are the life's blood of this district, with a workable wage. In all truth and transparency, we ran into a bit of a snag, but I'm a silver lining kind of guy. I'm always hoping that we can come back to the table, hopefully sometime this week. We are ardently hoping that we're going to put a date out
we can get back around the table and really, really just get this contract settled, so we can go into the school year with everyone peace of mind, peace of pocket as well, and go about the business of educating our children. I think once our teachers are healthy in that sense, I think that just makes it easier for them to do their job, which is taking care of our children. So we're ardently hoping we can come to a conclusion very, very soon, starting with a proposed date this week.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Stevens, can you take policy?
Good evening again. On Monday, August 22nd, the policy committee met. Cheryl Sillo, Joyce Simmons, President Cook, myself, Dr. E, and Superintendent Glover at 7:15. It was asked upon us at the last meeting in July by Ms. Obama and our parents to revisit the mask policy. So right now, we're gonna have our President Cook to review the mask policy.
So we reviewed our current policy on wearing a mask, which is going to stay in effect based on the CDC guidelines that were just received this week. I'm going to read the motion that was approved back on January 12th, 2022. The Hillside Board of Education hereby approves a mandatory mask face covering requirement for all employees, students, and visitors when entering and remaining at the Hillside Public School building. As a result, mask face coverings shall be worn at all times while inside any Hillside Board of Education property, commencing immediately except when eating, drinking, playing a musical instrument. This mandate shall remain in effect until the Board of Education determines that the mask face covering requirements is no longer warranted. The resolution is necessary to help facilitate the health, safety, and welfare of all employees, students, and visitors. So that policy has not been changed with the policy committee, and it will not be on the agenda item this evening. Ms. Simmons, can you take community engagement?
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
On August 22nd at 7:45, the committee engagement of the Community Engagement Committee had our meeting. All in attendance were our Superintendent Glover, Business Administrator Dr. Eisenholtz, Chairperson Joyce Simmons, Board President Kim Cook, and Board Member Cheryl Silo. The topic of discussion during this meeting was about our breast cancer walk that will be happening again on October 2nd. And thank everyone that has always attended those walks. They were always great, they were beautiful, and the purpose was definitely meaningful. Also, the high school is going to have another car wash, and again, thank everyone that participated, donated, and were present at the past car wash. The date will be announced soon. It hasn't come up, but it definitely will be in September. Back to school night or orientation has been taking place, and I think we have just one more, as the superintendent said. But we had on October 4th, WOK, the middle school, had their orientation. There was orientation for the elementary grades, and unfortunately, I do not have any information on HIA's orientation. And October. Oh, August, sorry. I took my glasses off, I can't see. It was August, I stand corrected, I apologize. And that ended the meeting, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons. And for labor, we met on August 22nd at 7:30 p.m. And attendance was Board Member Joanne Gibbons, Board Member Joyce Simmons, myself, our Business Administrator, Dr. Eichenholz, and our Superintendent Glover. We met to discuss the recommendations from the superintendent on our labor items. Since our meeting on August 22nd, the agenda has had several changes in additions to it that the board members will soon go into executive session to discuss for full transparency before we make a vote. And that ends our committee reports. At this time, we're gonna go into executive session. I take a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Be it resolved pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act that the Board of Education meet in closed executive session at this time to discuss matters relating to labor negotiations and personnel. The board will reconvene in public session at the conclusion of the closed session. The matters discussed in closed session will be disclosed to the public as soon as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Motion to go back in public session.
Motion.
At this time, Ms. Preston, who likes to comment?
I'd like to say that.
Ms. Best?
Yes.
Ms. Silo? Ms. Gordon Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Ms. Horton, you take new items under buildings and grounds.
I'd like to move items 1 and 2, and that's under buildings and grounds.
Second.
Do I have any questions?
Ms. Best?
Yes.
Ms. Silo?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
That was a yes.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes, 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 yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Ms. Best, can you move items under education?
Yes. I would like to move items 1 through 30 under education.
Second.
Questions? Ms. Best?
Yes.
Ms. Silo?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Mr. Shapiro, can you move items under labor?
Yes, I'd like to move items 1 through whatever, 37 on labor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Best?
Yes.
Ms. Silo?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon Givens?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Thank you.
Ms. Simmons?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Mr. Secretary,
I got
Mr. Lawson needs to abstain from one of them.
Oh, which one are you saying?
27B.
27D?
B.
D.
As well.
Got it. Mr. Shapiro is yes, Ms. Simmons, yes, Ms. Cook?
Yes. I think Mr. Shapiro was abstaining.
Are you abstaining? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tire. I'm old.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't know.
got it. So roll.
At this time, we have our board member comments, starting with Mr. Lawson. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lawson, 1 second. We have, one more motion, going on by our
That's it, right?
attorney.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dave.
The resolution will read as follows. Resolved that the Board of Education approve the second extension of a previously approved settlement for student number, fill in the blank, the terms of which are contained in an agreement in the Board Secretary's office, as discussed in closed session.
Somebody please move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Roll call. Ms. Best?
Yes.
Ms. Seelo?
Yes.
Ms. Worthing?
Yes.
Mr. Lofton?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro? Ms. Simmons?
Yes.
Ms. Cook?
Yes. Board member comments, Mr. Lofton?
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad you guys could stay up with us. I'm going to sleep, but but no, seriously, I'm glad. I'm hoping everybody had a great summer, and we're looking forward to a very, very good school year with a lot of good things happening. Thank you.
Mr. Shapiro? Abstain? Ms. Seelo?
I just second what Mr. Lofton said. We're looking forward to a really wonderful year.
Ms. Horton Givens?
Thanks to everyone that was able to stay with us on, I know we were in there for a long time. But thank you for staying with us, and we're looking forward to a very productive and a great year, and we want to continue to partner with you guys. Just know that we hear your concerns, and we're doing our very, very, very best to make sure that we can meet the expectations to the best of our ability. So thank you for your continued partnership and your participation tonight.
Ms. Simmons?
Good evening, all, and yes, thank you for staying with us, and I just want to ask all of you to please just keep the faith. Our superintendent is doing a terrific job. He's doing what he has to do, even though it may not favor everyone or everyone doesn't think it's the right thing. But just keep the faith and know that the board is here for you and your students, for sure. Despite what you hear, despite what other people are chirping, you have to just know, or please just remember, the board is here for you and our students. Thank you so much.
Vice President Best?
Good evening again. Just want to reiterate what was said previously by our board members. But also want to just highlight the great summer that we did have with our children and the programs that were, the new programs that were implemented that were successful, that we do want to continue to do next summer as well. And we want to also just keep that energy, that positive energy, into a productive and successful school year that is upcoming. We have the highest regards to our teachers, our staff that are here in the administration, and just as Ms. Simmons did say, it may not always look a certain way, but because we can't always expose it and tell everything as it comes, but trust and believe that Mr. Glover and the district, we are doing our best for the children and to ensure that they have the best education and the best teachers in the classes that are needed. So we do appreciate your patience. We appreciate just you being here supporting us. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so first I would like to start off by saying thank you to our board members. It takes took some time to get them, but I always say, ask why. Our superintendent came in and he said, ask why. And as board members, when we come and we hear these public comments, we have them now before going into executive session to give the public and our teachers and our staff opportunity to tell us what we don't know. We're not always walking those hallways. We don't know what's going on. We depend on what we hear. And then we go, and we may spend 2 hours in an executive session, but it's our job to vet, to ask why, and always be sure when we come up here, we make a vote, that vote is what we feel to be the right decision. based on the information that we're given. I think a lot of people think that we have this information up front before we come to these board meetings, and that is not always the case. I would love to have this information up front as one part of our conversations now. Because I want transparency, not only to you, but transparency to the board. And I can't stress it enough that we are going to continue to work on having that. Well, one day we're going to walk in here and none of us is going to be surprised to any of us. And we're all going to be aware on what's going on. I hear the comments about communication. Board Member Howard and myself have stressed that as late as Monday. Putting the communications out. Yes, we do have to get better about it. We are never going to be looked at when we're too busy to communicate with our staff, our parents, and our community. We have to take that time out. If we're gonna take time out to go have lunch, work that into the schedule. What is it that I need to get out to the community so they don't feel left behind? So board members don't feel as though we're hearing it from the public, because that's the worst thing, to hear it from the public. So I agree with that, and we're going to get better. As his mother said, we've been talking about communication for over a year, and we get better for the first month, and then it backslides. If I had control of the communication, and I had the codes to put it in, you would be advised. Unfortunately, in the beginning, I could probably sit there and make it happen. I do have a job as well, and a lot of the things come up. The expectations are there, and the expectations have to be met now, because we are going too long not knowing. There's several things that take place. I don't know until after this happened. I don't like that either. I don't like being blindsided, and neither should any board member up here. We do have a great superintendent, but we also have to help him and say, keep reminding sometimes. Sometimes he is busy getting the beginning of the school year started. But we have to hear the people. We're here to hear the people. Okay? Superintendent has a secretary, and we have to put that in the guidelines. This is the time we need to make these communications to the public. We're never too busy to hear our parents, our students, or our staff. I can't accept that. I can only apologize to you and guarantee you that moving forward, as of tomorrow, we're going to do better about our communication, because nobody's ever too busy. And we just had that conversation on Monday. So I want everybody to have a wonderful evening. So sorry that it took us so long. I appreciate our staff, but I also want us to all remember, we have to work together. And everybody is important in this group. There's no one person that is better than the other person. If you have a concern, that's why that mic is there, and we invite everybody to come to that mic, as hard as it may be for some people to hear it, but that's the only way we're going to address it. All board members have email addresses. Please use them. Feel free to email us, because that's the only way we're finding out certain things. And I would like to hear it prior so we can have it resolved and we can, before meetings, but if it's not, then please come to the mic and let's address it, let's talk about it, and let's know what's going on, okay? So everybody have a good night. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just grab that.